Hi everybody, welcome again to another video of me using cognitive behavioral therapy, specifically exposure and response prevention therapy, which is like, I think, a subset of cognitive behavioral therapy to help treat my choking phobia, an ongoing struggle, a battle I have every day to keep the thought that I'm going to choke on food at bay. And the way you do that is by basically testing that thought out. And if you guys haven't seen my videos before, they basically go along the same line, unless I start ranting. But the basic structure of the video is I rate my anxiety on a scale of 1 to 100 before I do the thing that makes me anxious. After I have that number down, it's very important to get that number very accurate. You do the thing that makes you anxious for, you start out slow, a little bit of time, a little more intensity, right? And then once you finish your first introductory activity, you write your anxiety level down afterwards. When you do that, you should realize for the most part your anxiety levels, numbers, for example, if you start out with like a 10, it should go down to like at least a 9 or an 8. And you see that when you do this over a regular period of time, what happens is your body gets, it's like a phobia, like any other sort of phobia you have, like, if you're scared of something that's irrational, your body will begin to realize the irrationality of your phobic thoughts and to a certain extent your phobic choices, and you will eventually realize that choking is only caused by, for example, a certain number of factors: eating too fast, talking while you're eating, laughing while you're eating, right? Not being mindful of how much you're putting in your mouth, or if you've recently had a stroke or vomited, some sort of health problem. But what I'm trying to say is, I think this is good for me to say before I begin the exposure, like I just picked up my food, this idea that just talking about it to a person, even if no one was watching, really helps, because it makes me feel that I'm not alone, that I am going through this and other people are going through this as well. Like, this is not like some crazy thing that I've just made up and thought about and created my own stories about and believe, for example, like the just think that maybe perhaps aren't fully psychologically deemed valid. Things like I believe that evil spirits are out to get me, or they're the ones that are causing my anxiety or my problems. These thoughts, it's good to talk about them because you realize, for example, how true they are. And that's the point of, I would say, these exposures, is to be able to figure out what is the truth. What is it that you believe? For example, do you believe you will choke? Do you believe your life problems are caused by the devil or devils, right? And of course, these things, when you really think about it and get down to it, I at least realize I was taught, and this is what I believe, that the devil and evil is definitely a creation of God in this world, and is definitely causes evil to people. And the devil is a creation of God, and we believe that I believe that God measured out evil, okay? And I also believe, this is the opinion of it's not a controversial opinion, this is a standard opinion for hundreds and hundreds of years. I also believe that Allah, the evil that Allah created, does not return to Him. We don't attribute evil to Allah. We say Allah measured it out. It's a creation of Allah, and He measured it out. He measured out the kids that were going to get cancer, the kids that were, going to die in horrific 9/11, all these things, right? Iraq War, all these things were measured out by Allah, and we can't say, oh, because of all these things, therefore God is evil. No, because we live in a world of free will, and it is evil that is a creation of Allah, measured by Allah, measured out by Him, and it is kind of like, I don't want to delve too much into this because I've been warned by many, like, there's a hadith that you just don't delve into like free will and determinism. I'm simply going to say, to explain this evil situation and evil and why evil exists. I don't know how I started getting to this. Oh yeah, because my problems all come from evil. I just want to say this one thing. Free will and evil, okay, they kind of like coexist. It's almost like free will. This is what I want to say. I don't know if it's true or not. That's why I'm saying I don't believe it. I'm just simply saying it. Free will and evil are kind of like tools used together in this world of what we call the material world, not the spiritual world or the world of angels or numinous beings and whatnot, like angels and prophets. With the world of the material world, the world that, you know, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has now not basically been operating on, that he's passed to his Lord. This world is the world where evil exists and free will exists, and of course good exists. I believe it is the free will, as I just want to make clear before I begin my exposure. It's the free will that interplays with evil, I believe, that causes, you know, if you want to say like your problems in life or whatever. At the end of the day, though, I need to have faith and belief that evil is actually caused by, it's created by God and measured out by God, and you just need to understand. You have to have faith that it's God's will. Evil, hard to have. I don't think it's easy. Anyway, speaking of my exposure, on a scale of 1 to 100, my anxiety level is of choking. Remember, of choking. Choking. Yeah, it's like a 9 now. That's good.
Of the awesomeness, the heavens are greater than anything, and only the astronomer is the only one that can really understand that. And then the next is the earth itself, and then the mountain. So Allah said that, you know, they all, and that refusal, they say, is not a refusal of inad. And then Allah says, Huwa Allah alladhi la ilaha illahu. He is Allah, there's no God. Alimul ghaybi wa shahada, the knower of the seen, the unseen, al-ghayb wa shahada. Shahada means the seen. It also means the testimony. And that's because all of this shahada, everything that you can see is testifying la ilaha illallah. Right? That's why the poet, he said, Ya ajaman kayfa yu'sal ilahu am kayfa yajhaduhu al-jahidu. How wondrous is it that a man can disobey Allah, or a man can disbelieve in Allah. What a strange thing. وَفِي كُلِّ تَحْرِيكَةٍ وَفِي كُلِّ تَحْرِيكَةٍ وَتَسْكِينَةٍ أَبَدًا شَاهِدُ. And in every movement and stillness, always there is a shahid, a witness. وَلِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ لَهُ آيَةٌ تَدُلُّ عَلَى أَنَّهُ وَاحِدٌ. And everything in creation is testifying that Allah is one. So the shahada is this world, and the meaning of this world is La ilaha illallah. That's what the whole world is saying to the human being, and He is the one that can decode that, right? And that's why Allah is alim al-ghaybi wa shahada. The shahada is the seen. وَهُوَ الرَّحْمَنُ الرَّحِيمُ هُوَ اللَّهُ الَّذِي لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ الْمَلِكُ الْقُدُّوسُ, the King, the holy, the sanctified, Quddus. As-salam, the complete. It doesn't mean peace. Peace. Salam here does not mean peace. And it's wrong to call Allah peace. Like we mean, and that's not what it means. Al-Mu'min or Muhayminu, the believer and the overseer, the guider, right? The Mu'min means really the one who makes others safe, right? Who gives them aman. Al-Muhayminu, the one who oversees everything, is in control. Al-Aziz, inestimably precious, the great, the powerful, magnificent. Al-Jabbar, the compeller, the one who compels people and things to do what they do. المتكبر, the exalted, the magnified, the great. Subhanallah amma yushrikun, glory to Allah above what they associate. And Subhan in Arabic means tanzih. What you're doing, you're saying Allah is not like anything. When you say Subhanallah, it's tanzih. You're saying Allah is not like anything. Amma yushrikun. Huwa Allahu al-Khaliq al-Bari al-Musawwir. These three attributes. Al-Khaliq is the one who can, the closest approximation. I don't like to use these words because it's problematic in Tawheed. But Al-Khaliq, the three stages of creation is Khalq, Bar' and Taswir. Khaliq is that Allah decides to create. And He has the Qudra, the Ilm, and the Irada to do those. And when those three come together, then you get the Tanjiziyah of creation. In His ultimate reality, Allah has that Khuluhiyya. It's always there. His power to be Khaliq is always there. When He decides to create, He is Al-Bari. In other words, the decision is Khaliq. When He actually brings it into existence, that's Al-Bari, the one who brings in. And this is called Bari'ah, right? Creation is, like the Prophet is called Khairul Bari'ah. Bari'ah is the thing that the Bari has brought into existence. Musawwar is the fashioner. In other words, like for a fetus, you would see it that the Khaliq is the one that determined that there would be a human life. The Bari is the one that formulated the semen in the man, the ovum in the woman, brought them together. And then the Musawwar is the one who fashions the creation, makes all the cells emerge. The liver becomes a liver, the brain becomes a brain, the backbone becomes, that's Musawwir. Now, all of these in reality are, there's no linearity to Allah. So Imam al-Ghazali says these are only facets. And because human beings they can only look at things we can only see one part at any one time. Allah is telling us what He is in the multifaceted reality. But it's only multifaceted from our limited perspective. In reality, it's all one. It's Allah. Okay? So attributes are only approximations for human beings to understand because we're in time and our intellect are limited. And so these are just facets of the same creational process. Is that clear? له الأسماء الحسنى. Allah has the most beautiful names. يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض. Everything in the heavens and the earth, and ma there's لغير العقل, everything, even rock, atom, everything is praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وهو العزيز الحكيم, and He is العزيز الحكيم. And then سلام على نوح في العالمين إنا كذلك نجزي المحسنين إنه من عبادنا المؤمنين. Now I don't know if this came in. I don't know if he got that from a hadith or this ayat in the Quran, but I don't know if he got it from a hadith or that's his own ijtihad. And one of the wisdoms I think behind this ayah being in the wird is that in a sense we are, for the moment, he is like, this is an age of Nuh. In other words, there's a massive flood coming, really, and all of us know it, right? And when you start telling people, most people are going to laugh at you. And you start building an ark in this age, which is trying to get ready for the akhirah, people think you're a fool. So what Nuh alayhi salam was doing in his time, the mu'min in this time, it's very similar. People, if you're concerned about akhirah now, people think you're stupid. There's no akhirah. Why are you wasting your time? Dude, this is what, and even Muslims, even though they won't say it literally, because they don't want to say they don't believe in akhirah, but all of their actions would indicate they don't believe in akhirah, because all they're concerned about is dunya. And when they see Muslims that are concerned about akhirah, they tell them, Ya akhi, why don't you do something, get for your dunya. Right? اعمل لدنياك كأنك تعيش أبدا. So, right, and then they forget the second half. Which isn't a hadith anyway. It's not a hadith. This is a some say it's Sayyidina Ali said it. And then I told you, Sheikh Bashir, Ahmed Bashir told me, rahimahullah, he said, if you really took that hadith, that word seriously, he said, if you had to live forever for your dunya, you'd put it off. Whereas if you only had one day for your akhirah, that's what you'd be worried about. It's like the opposite of the way people understand. So Nuh alayhi salam, you know, إِنَّ كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. That's how we reward muhsineen, by saving them from the flood, because they believed in Allah's wa'ad and wa'id, and they prepared for it. And one of the things Sayyidina Malik radiallahu anhu, the Imam, said that the sunnah is safinatu Nuhin. The sunnah of the Messenger of Allah is the safina of Sayyidina Nuh, for the flood of bid'ah and kufr and all this. He's from our servants, the believers. And then the next dua, you have to say this every day. If this, one of my Shaykh Hamad al-Wali told me, if you don't do any dua, at least do this one, these next two, every day. If they're the only ones you do them. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. And there's a riwayah تامات كلها من شر ما خلق. But this is seeking refuge in the complete words of Allah, all of them, from the evil that He created, that Allah created 3 times. Whoever does that 3 times in the morning and 3 times in the evening, the hadith says that he will not be harmed or afflicted by evil in that day. So that dua should be said every day. The next one, Bismillah alladhi la yadurru ma'a ismihi shay'un fil ardi wa la fis sama'i wa huwa as-sami' al-alim. 3 times, the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever says that 3 times in the morning will not be harmed by poison or animals that bite and things like that. So it's a protective dua. And people know the famous story of Khalid ibn al-Walid, radiallahu anhu, when some Christians, he was telling them that in their belief, they did not believe that anything could harm them with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so the Christians brought him some poison and said, well, let's see you prove it to us. Now don't try this, right? Because we're not Khalid ibn Walid. But Khalid radiallahu anhu said this dua and drank it, and no harm came to him. Right? And that's the iman of Khalid ibn al-Walid. So that's a really important one. And then the next one, 3 times morning and 3 times in the evening. The next one, the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever says this every morning 3 times has fulfilled the gratitude of that day. In other words, if you just say this, that's all Allah wants you to say. And if you just admit this, then you've given shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma inni asbahtu minka bi ni'matin. Oh Allah, I have come into this morning with ni'mah, in a blessing. Wa afiyatin. Allahumma inni asbahtu minka bi ni'matin wa afiyatin. And afiyah, good health. Wa sitrin. And veil from my wrongs by you. فَأَتِمَّ or أَتْمِم. There's 2 riwayah. فَأَتِمَّ نِعْمَتِكَ عَلَيَّ وَعَافِيَتِكَ وَسِتْرَكَ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. So fulfill your blessing upon me, and your afiyah and your veiling in the dunya and the akhirah. 3 times. اللهم إني أصبحت منك بنعمة وعافية وستر فأتم نعمتك علي وعافيتك وستر في الدنيا والآخرة. 3 times. The next one, the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever recites that 4 times, it's as if they freed a human being from bondage. That's the equivalent of the reward of doing this. So, Allahumma inni asbahtu ushhiduka, oh Allah, I come into the morning calling you to bear witness. Wa ushhidu hamalata arshika, and the angels that carry your throne. وَمَلَائِكَتَكَ, and all of the angels. وَجَمِيعَ خَلْقِكَ أَنَّكَ أَنْتَ اللَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ وَحْدَكَ لَا شَرِيكَ لَكَ وَأَنَّ مُحَمَّدًا عَبْدُكَ وَرَسُولُكَ. So 4 times to say that, oh Allah, I came into the morning calling you to witness and calling your throne bearers, your angels, and all of your creation, that you are Allah. There is no God but you alone, without partner, and that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is your servant and your messenger.
Okay, so exposure part is finished. Usually, when you begin the exposures in the early stages, you're not going to want to eat all of this food that I just ate, right? You're going to want to eat a couple onion rings, maybe just a slice of cheese, you know, slowly. I've been doing this for about 3 months now, so that's why it's like this. So, it went down from a 9 to a 9, which is great. Which is great because the trend is 10 to 10, 9 to 9. It's pretty bad. It's progress, right? Okay, so it's my video. If you were wondering what I was listening to, it was just an Islamic lecture by this Islamic scholar named Hamza Yusuf. So yeah, it was basically, you know, it's when you're eating, you have this, you know, feeling of choking. So this is my video, and this is what I want to share with you guys. Basically, how choking phobia makes one feel, and how one can actually effectively treat themselves from it. It can be done. You know, it will require treatment of underlying issues that you have, though. I guarantee you, if you have choking phobia, you're more than likely going to have an underlying issue that you will have to deal with. That may not be as fun, actually, as dealing with the choking phobia. Some people, I can imagine, would more likely want to just not eat than deal with these emotions. And that's kind of the key, or the crucible of where this is all coming from. They're basically saying, I don't want to eat because I don't want to deal with these emotions. The only problem is both are going to kill you. Lack of food will kill you, and lack of resolving those emotions will cause, you know, depressed mood, it'll weaken your immune system. It could kill you too. So, you know, just because one is more like prominent, that we all know in society, like if you don't eat food, you'll die. But we don't really know as prominently in society this idea that if we don't resolve our emotions, we could suffer physical health. It's not as popular as this idea that if you don't eat, you're gonna die. So we don't really think clearly, and we just kind of do it this way, and because anxiety makes us do crazy things. So remember to stay focused with your anxiety. You don't want to, for example, do it one day, your exposure, and then be like, all right, that was really hard, and then don't do it for 2 days, and then do it again for a day, and then don't do it for another 2 days because it's getting too hard. If you're doing that, I recommend you backing away from doing the anxiety too high. I know it takes a lot of time if your anxiety is really, really high, and you want to just get it over and done with and be like, oh yeah, I can do it because this guy's doing it, and I've read about it, and I know what it means. No, you have to, if you find yourself doing that, do less anxiety. For example, if you think, you know, I'm going to eat that muffin, get over my choking phobia, and you realize you ate the whole muffin, but then tomorrow you don't want to do the anxiety video or the exposure, and the day after, because you're so worn out and you're so tired and you're so anxious, and you don't eat anything for maybe a day, right? But then you come back and remember how good it made you feel, so you did it again on the 4th day. And by this point, you're starving and you can't maybe think straight. So you have a muffin, and you're like, all right, I did it. But you see how it's just not it's not like consistent. You gotta stay consistent with it. Because yeah, if you don't stay consistent with it, you're gonna end up with like these kind of like false starts, false thoughts, where you think, oh, I'm better now because you know, I can eat any food I want anytime I want, and I won't feel like this urge that I'm gonna choke. Just thought I'm gonna choke. The only problem is sometimes the brain will play tricks on you. Society is very welcoming and opening, and for me, that makes me feel that I'm gonna be safe. The only problem is once the food, like you're in a society, you may pick up a chocolate bar and you put it in your mouth and you're eating it, but as soon as it enters your mouth, something is off about it, right? Because you haven't done the work. You're just doing whatever society wants you to do. Someone asks you that you want a chocolate bar, and you eat it, and you realize, oh, I'm gonna choke, right? You're just not there. You gotta be there. You gotta be awake, mindful, ready, you know? Hand on the trigger. What's that my mom would always say? Quick on the draw. You gotta be quick on the draw. All right, you gotta be like that, like focused. Now, what was I talking about? That's funny. It's like being focused. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, you're doing the anxieties too much. So just stay focused on a daily basis, and discipline mostly as well. Discipline and focus on a daily basis, even if it's just, you know, half a muffin or half a cheese or, you know, a chocolate chip cookie. It's the beginning. Or even if that's too much, baby food. I've heard people try baby food if their anxiety is seriously bad. You get the baby food, put it in your mouth, eat some. These things are great for people. I highly recommend them, and I depending on the severity of your anxiety, you know, you could definitely benefit from these treatments. Medication is another thing you can benefit from. You know, medication is something you discuss with your doctor. I guess this is just me and my anxiety exposure videos. This is who I am now. I make videos about choking phobia. I'm gonna do, maybe on the weekend, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna go to Square One. I'm gonna make a video. Square One is like a mall here, a big mall. And because I have social phobia as well. I'm gonna do the exact same thing I did with choking phobia that I'm gonna do with social phobia. Okay? I'm gonna write my anxiety down on a scale of 1 to 100. Okay? And I'm gonna set a goal for myself as to how much I think I can do. For example, walk around the mall once. Or if that's too much, just walk around half the mall, right? Walk into a store. Set some specific goals. I think it's just gonna be walk around the mall once, maybe get a book or something, and leave. And then what you do is you observe. Like, for example, you try to have your thoughts as sequentially as possible. Get like a notepad or something. If that's too hard, just try to stay with the anxiety. Go into the anxiety. Live in the anxiety. Live where the anxiety lives so that it will move out. You have to be a bully. You have to kind of kick it out. Like, you don't live here. You're not paying rent. Literally. Right? Go in there and you tell your anxiety where it should be, which is homeless. Because anxiety is bad. No one wants to have anxiety. Anxiety is homelessness. In a way, it's like as bad as being homeless because no one wants it. No one really understands where it's coming from. They throw a lot of money at it. No, I'm kidding. This analogy is not going anywhere. Yeah, so I think I'll end the video here because I gotta start work in like a minute. I'm like a minute late actually. So, this is my video. Went from a 10 to a 9. Went from a 9 to an 8. And remember, guys, stay with it.